Well, listen carefully. Uh, we had a discussion in the last class about introduction to linguistic, and in which what did we discuss? We discussed definition of language, right, and characteristic of human language. Beside that, we also discuss language versus you can say that communication, isn't it? And when we talk about definition of language, we understood what language is all about. Language is a structured system of symbols that's spoken, written, or signed, isn't it? And that are used for what? For the sake of communication. And language serves as a instrument or tool for nothing but revealing, encoding, and transmitting information, sharing information, and allowing individuals to share their common thoughts, experiences, and knowledge. Isn't it? More than just words, language involves rules and con- expresses that enables effective communication, isn't it? Then we talk about characteristic of human language, and in the characteristic of human language, we discussed arbitrariness, which is called as authoritative, right? Or we talk about productivity, we talk displacement, and cultural transmission, isn't it? Uh, those of the things are there. Then we talk about what language versus communication, and in which we understood that language is a style of what language is a type of communication, right? So not, but at the same time, we also said that all communication cannot be called as a language, isn't it? Uh, and human language, when we talk about human language differs from other communication systems, such as we talk about animals. And when we talk about human language differ from animal communication, we understood that human language do have complexity and structure. When we say that complexity and structure, it means we talk about human language uses what you can say that dual structure, dual layer, right? Dual layer structure. You can say that, like you can say that sounds, which means phonemes. Phonemes means called as the sounds, and that combine into meaningful units, right? Meaningful units means we call about phoneme and morpheme. Phoneme is indicating to sounds, and morphemes referring to the nothing but units, isn't it? And uses of that phoneme and morpheme, we form nothing but the words and sentences, right? That governed by grammar. So, what are the things that you find out? Phoneme, morpheme, and grammar. Phoneme, morpheme, and grammar. So, those are nothing but called as a complexity and structure, right? So, the second one we also talk about arbitrary symbol when we talk about how human language differ from you can say animals communication. We find out that complexity and structure. Second is called as arbitrary symbols, so in which we understand that human language relies on what? Relies on arbitrary symbols. Like the word tree doesn't visually resembles, does not visually resembles a tree, while animal communication often uses signals directly tied to specific context. Like you can say that example, a dog's bark or bees waggle dance to indicate food location. So in that case, we talk about nothing but arbitrary symbols, right? Then we also find out the third one, displacement. So complexity and structure, arbitrary symbol, and third one is displacement. And when we talk about displacement, we stated about most animal communication is restricted displacement. So restricted to the present moment and immediate environment, the environment where they live. Whereas you would find out human language allows abstract means imaginary, hypothetical, and also temporarily displaced, right? while you are making conversation, because you are presently here, but you can talk about the past, right? So then the fourth one is called as a creativity and productivity, right? So when we say that creativity and productivity, we can say that human language is open-ended, capable of expressing new ideas, and also uh, adapt to new context, and means so many things. Whereas animal communication is generally fixed with the what, limited to specific scenarios or specific situations. That's what we can say. Creativity and productivity lie in the human being, whereas animals don't have. Right. So then the fifth one is called as a cultural learning. We understand that when a child births, right? So you find out that means, he or she learns from his or her mother or his family or her family or the outside, and also from the teachers, isn't it? So that is why we call it a language is a transmitted socially and culturally, with children acquiring the language or languages of their environment. Animal communication is a more instinctual and less depend on social teaching. Won't find out that, right? Then we understood that what language is a sophisticated and uniquely human quality that goes beyond mere communication, right? Its characteristic, arbitrariness, productivity, cultural transmission, displacement. So these are helping us or enabling humans to share complex ideas and create rich cultural and you can say that intellectual traditions, isn't it? Now, by opposing it with the animal communication, right? The uniqueness of human language becomes even clearer and understandable, isn't it? So this is nothing but the first part where we understood about how animal means what is language, what are the types of language, and how languages differ from communication, characteristic of human language, and how human language differ from the animal communication, isn't it? Now let's look at the next one that's called as a properties of human language. When we talk about properties of human language, um, so we understand that human being that or human language possesses distinct or unique properties, right? That makes it one of the most sophisticated system of communication, isn't it? And these include, you can say, duality of pattern. Dual means two, right? Duality of pattern, two types of pattern, creativity and also displacement, and which together represents nothing but the mastery or versatility and adaptability, acceptance, and also imaginary nature of human linguistic abilities, right? So, in this particular part, when we talk about properties of human language, we will understand that what duality of properties are, right? So, dualities of patterning. Second, and when we talk about dualities of patterning, we discuss sounds and meanings, then creativity in language, infinite combinations from finite elements, and also we talk about displacement, where we discuss things that not present in time, not present or space, not present in time or space. Now, let's go to the first one, which is called as the duality of patterning, where we talk about sounds and meanings. When we say that duality of patterning, sounds and meanings, it means what it refers to. It refers to the organization of language. So, organization or ordering of language in two levels. What are they? One is called the phonological levels, right? When we say that phonological level means called as a sound. Phono means sound. Phone, telephone, gramophone, homophone, symphony, right? Phone means sound. So in that case, phonological level, that is one of the order, but one of the organization. So you can say that the smallest unit of sounds, when we talk about phonological level, we talk about the smallest units of sound, phonemes in a language, such as you can say pa, ba, or you can say that isn't it? The smallest unit, pa, ba, ta, ja, ka, ga, cha, ja, isn't it? These are called as the smallest unit, means single letter that uses with nothing but a slash. So, and they do not carry any meaning of their own, do they? If you say pa, ba, ka, ga, ta, da, cha, ja, sa, sh, isn't it? They don't carry any meaning, but they are known as a unit, smallest unit. Second, it's called as a morphological. So one is called as a phonological, right? Phonological. Second is called as a morphological. So morpheme, we call it morphological or semantic label. Morphological or semantic label. Semantic label. What do you mean by that? Now, if you say these phonemes, phonemes mean sounds. These phonemes combine in specific pattern, right? So to create meaningful units, which is known as a morphemes, right? Now, if you tell the word phonemes, pa, ta, da, ka, ga, these are phonemes and morphemes. Morphemes indicating that what combine in a specific pattern to create meaningful units. Let's say that PAT, pat, CAT, cat, DAD, dat, right or not? So you find out that bat, cat, or pat, right? So here, what do you find out? Pa is a phoneme, ta is a phoneme, is a phoneme, but when they are combined properly, we find out nothing but the morpheme, which is called as a proper order, right? And it makes a meaningful, right? Isn't it? So let's take the example. If you say the phonemes, can you the phonemes can be arranged or rearranged to form words like what? CAT. So when you write CAT, C, right, will be kept in the where? In between the slash. Then A will be in a slash and T will be in the slash. Cat. Act. 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 Or you talk about tag. TAC. Tag. Try to understand what I am trying to say here is nothing but a means letter is known as a phonemes, smallest unit of phonemes. Phonemes mean sounds. Then when you combine those smallest units in a proper order, we call them in a semantic or morpheme order. Then we find out nothing but a meaningful words, isn't it? So, a meaningful sentence. So, in that case, you find out they present also unique meanings. CAT, cat. So, if you remove C, you would find out PAT, pat, isn't it? So, BAT, bat, isn't it? So, that is what. If you remove T and you write G, PAG, bag, isn't it? So, a smallest unit that produces the sound, and if you remove it, you put something else, it presents another mere sound, isn't it? So, the importance is what? The dual structure. The dual structure allows. What are the dual structure? One is called the phonemes, and the other one is called the morphological or semantic. Got my point? Now, the importance is what the dual structure allows language to be, both economical, right? So, using economical means what? Economical means limited set of words, limited set of words, and infinitely, expressive through combination, infinitely expressive through combination. Isn't it? Did you understand what is duality of patterns? Right? Now, next is called as a creativity in language. Next is called as a creativity in language. When we talk about creativity in language, we generally call it infinite combination from finite elements. Right. So, if you talk about creativity in language, what is creativity? Now, if you say that creativity is also known as a productivity, isn't it? Like we read in the first part, creativity also known as productivity, and it is the ability to do what? It is the ability to generate an infinite number of new sentences, right? And expression from a finite set of words. So if you have a limited set of words, you can form means infinite number of new sentences, isn't it? And follow the grammatical rules, right? Let's say that how it works. Let's say that human can create entirely novel new sentences, entirely new sentences that have never been said before, such as Let's say that if you say computer, the quantum computer, the quantum computer. So the quantum computer decoded the alien message. The quantum computer decoded the alien message overnight, right? So in that case, what happened? You find out set of words when properly ordered and produce something new sentence, right? You make several words. If you arrange them in a proper order, you find out a word sentence will be produced that has never been said by somebody, isn't it? So similar to that, this is possible. Why this is possible? Because language, depends on recursive rules, right? So um, if you talk about that, language relies or depends on recursive rules where similar units, right? Or you can say that where smaller words can be, combined into larger structure, right? Smaller units or smaller words can be combined into larger structure, like you can say that phrases, clauses, sentences, isn't it? What do you find out? Sound, then you find out that morpheme, right? Then you find or semantic, then you find out nothing but the smaller units are called as words, then you find out phrase, then you find out clause, then you find out sentences, isn't it? So in unlimited way, right? Let's say that if I say the cat chased the mouse through the kitchen, the cat chased the mouse through the kitchen, isn't it? Now, if you look at that, if you want, this is nothing but a sentence. If you want to add a clause, the cat chased the mouse through the kitchen while the dog barked outside. Now, what do you find out? Earlier, you said that the cat chased the mouse through the kitchen. Now, you said that what? The cat chased the mouse through the kitchen while, right? While the dog barked outside. What happened? Means you can make more, you can make the word into sentence and sentence into lengthy or complex one or compound or complex one. So that is what the importance of the, means called as a phoneme, morphology, semantic, words, phrases, and clauses, isn't it? Or that's what is the charmness of language. So the importance you would find out that if you say this property, these are nothing but called as a property, and this property is key to human innovation. Human innovation means called as a that's what is called as a new things a human being have developed, right? So you can say that what human being have the ability to tell the story also, storytelling. So, and the creation of complex ideas. If I tell you, you can make somehow called it a 4 to 5 sentences short story. You, which means no one else or called as no other means animate can do, right or not? So, human being have that ability to do nothing but the creation of complex ideas, right? Making language even dynamic and ever evolving, or means always changing, right? So that's what is nothing but called as a duality of patterning. Duality of patterning, right or not? Then that's what we find out creativity in language also, isn't it? Now, the third one which we talk about, it's called as the displacement. When we talk about displacement, we understand that displacement is nothing but called as a discussing things that doesn't present in time or space. Right. Let's say that what happened in the sports event, you told me just now, isn't it? Now that's called as a displacement. It means discussing things that that is not happening at present, right? Or that is not happening in the same area. Like we were the event occurred in the where? The event occurred in the ground, and the action also happened in the ground, right? But where we discussing? We are discussing at present here, isn't it? So in that case, if you talk about that, displacement is the ability to refer refer to things that are not immediately present in the physical environment, right? Or in the current time, isn't it? So that's what is called as displacement. So the characteristic of displacement is what you can say temporal displacement. When we say that temporal displacement means discussing past or future event in the present situation, discussing past or future event in the present situation, that's called as a temporal displacement. If you say that spatial displacement, what is that spatial displacement? When you say spatial displacement, it refers to the subject, it refers to the objects or events in a distant location, right? So you talk about the things which are very far from you. You can think of what you did in last year, summertime, right? So you were in Delhi, isn't it? So location is very far. So, and you talk about nothing but the past, isn't it? And you stated about certain events or certain objects, right or not? That can be called as a spatial displacement. You can also say that abstract concepts. When you say that what the temporal displacement, spatial displacement, and abstract concept, abstract means what? There's something that is imaginary, something, some ideas, some emotions, some hypothetical situations, right? So that do not exist physically, isn't it? Now in that case, means, let's say if I say I will visit Paris next summer, I will visit Paris next summer, what is that? That is called as a temporal, right? Why temporal? Because you are talking about the future, isn't it? Now, if you say spatial, so when you say spatial, the Amazon spatial is what? Referring to events or objects in in distant location, isn't it? Now, in that case, I can say the Amazon rainforest is being deforested at an alarming rate. Deforested means what? Deforested means something called as a afforestation, deforestation. So means many of the trees have been cut down and also going to disappear very soon. So in that case, it is known as a spatial. The Amazon forest, you can say that is being deforested at an alarming rate. We can also say that abstract example could be what would happen if humans could teleport, right? So means this is something called as an imagination, right? So what would happen if humans were robots, right? So in that case, these are the imaginary talk or abstract thought. Ideas or emotions are called as a hypothetical situation, which are known as abstract ideas. So in that case, if you talk about displacement, in displacement, we find out three types of displacement. One is called as a temporal, one is spatial, one is abstract, right? So what the importance that you find out here? Now, the property that is unique to human language and that helps us what planning, that enables planning, imagination, scientific exploration, and cultural storytelling. And most animal communication systems are limited to immediate context, right? Such as signaling danger. So, means you must have found out that how animals realize that there is danger, right? So, or called as a means they identify this is my territory. Territory means called as the place which is nothing but ending here, right? No one can enter or I cannot go outside, right? So, in that case, if you talk about duality of patterning, creativity or productivity, and displacement, these are the three properties of language. These are three properties of language. So they describe nothing but the exception, complexity, and also adaptability of human language, isn't it? So they actually help humans to think what abstract, communicate in a very new manner, and also share information across time and space.